and they want to just extend their property.
Madam Chair, to council, I was working on the property just north of it. It was that's coffee shop, we really don't know. It's offer of $500,000 for the property. And part of that, they were getting the lots behind it. So I had to get approval for this gentleman to vacate his lot. And one of the things to vacate his lot is to give him that 10 feet, which would hinder my development going in next door.
Isn't that building owned by Dr. Liddell?
It was a vet at one time. It was
Well,
where
it
A&W
still
used to
is.
be, and then they moved over. I'm not sure.
I thought they were leasing it from Dr. Liddell.
I don't really know.
So he's actually working with me trying to buy the property south of his
Well, there it is. Or the guy that owns this.
Taylor Exchange. That,
She's talking about the vet.
oh,
They
it's,
used to be there.
I thought he owned this and he was leasing it to them.
I'm not sure who the owner is. I can look it up for you.
The lot north of it was purchased, right?
it's going through the due diligence phase.
Okay.
I guess I'm asking because if we're gonna vacate it and give it to Taylor Exchange, I'm just asking, are they really the owner?
It's already been vacated. It's usually when a lot's split 50%, 50%. And in this case, we're going to give our 50% to the Taylor Exchange.
So it doesn't affect the other owner then, is what you're
Instead of
saying?
20 years, instead of 10 years.
Well, I get what Linda's saying though. I mean, we can't give it to someone who doesn't own the remainder of the property. It's got to go to whoever.
Right.
That's all she's asking.
Yeah,
We're not
because
giving
we
it to
approve.
Taylor Exchange if they don't own the property to begin with.
Right.
That's fair. I think, Madam Chair, we will have a answer for you on
Tomorrow night?
tomorrow.
Okay.
Two answers.
I have a question. I mean, what is the history with, us giving a vacated alley or our portion of it to development or things of that nature? I mean, has there been precedents in the past that we've seen this happen?
Yeah. Respectfully, it's happened before. It's not anything that's really unusual. It kind of depends on the development and what's right for that area. If it's needed, if the city feels it's necessary. And we, at all costs, try to get rid of the alleys.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask Mr. Sutherland what the development might be?
Oh, well, they gave plans for a coffee shop, so that it could possibly be important for Starbucks.
I thought we were Starbucks, because we already have enough concerns. I love variety.
Number 11, are you ready to move on? Oh, this is another removal of ordinance citations from the winter tax roll.
So this one was added in error.
I don't think so.
That's what it says, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I see. I thought you meant it was added to the agenda.
No.
Okay, and then 12 also.
And then, if I could, Madam Chair,
Yes.
number 13, I have a comment on that
For
one.
13?
Yes.
12. Did you have a question on 12?
Yeah, 12. I noticed in the remarks, I guess by Mr. Markey then, he said he wasn't aware of any statute of limitations that prohibit requesting reimbursement for several years. And I just wanted to know if that was like a for sure statement, is factual, or is that something that you thought was just your opinion or something?
Sure, no, and you bring up a good point, Councilman Garza. And that was the good point I wanted to bring up to the chair. I had said 13, but I meant to tell you 12.
Okay.
We have a letter from Wayne County Treasurer based on a court case where it states that if a taxpayer does not request reimbursement at the time that taxes are paid, they're not allowed to request reimbursement 2 or 3 years later. So that is one answer. I made that case available to David Greco because I asked him, I said, this is a Wayne County Treasurer opinion. What's your thoughts? And Dave's only comment is, well, he agrees that it's late in the taxpayer requesting. He said that the citation is not a true property tax, so it may not fall under the same characteristics as a tax versus a citation.
Yeah, now, I mean, with this, I want to make sure we're very clear with these, you know, because if we don't have to pay back amounts that we don't have to, I don't want to get to that practice of doing so. So I want to make sure that we're clear.
Sure, and to your point again, Councilman Garza, we did review the tax law citation, and I'll use the word silent. There is no language in the section which states a limit of number of years they must file within a certain period of years. Because it's silent, it doesn't, one answer is that there is no limitation how far back they can go. The letter from, I think
We don't want to open ourselves up to where somebody 20 years down the road says,
Right.
oh, hey, wait a minute, I didn't realize, you know, and.
That's what I'm trying to.
what I have for the chair and city council is a letter that we received from Wayne County Treasurer, which the county treasurer uses to not pay back tax that are requested 2 or 3 years after the time.
You had said that David Greco, he looks at this differently because this was ordinance violations or delinquent water, not a tax.
Correct.
So-
This is, and I agree with that, it's not a tax, it's water. And this just goes right back to, we need to collect our water, not put it on taxes. You know, this is thousands of dollars that we've forgiven since we've been in office.
Right.
So either you pay up, it's 350, whatever the number is, or you shut it off. I'm sorry, but pay your water bill, because we're just losing money on it.
Well, was this based off a foreclosed home that was purchased?
It was in 2012 from the Wayne County Treasurer. So the back history, if I could, Councilman, is the gentleman did buy the property through the Wayne County Treasurer in 2012. At that time, he should have filed a letter with my office, the assessor at that time, requesting reimbursement. That was not done. What triggered the request is we also put new taxes in 2015 winter tax bill based on the court's adding of delinquent court citations. And Dave Greco agreed to remove those charges because they were prior to the taxpayer, which then caused the taxpayer to ask, well, can I also be reimbursed for my 2012? And my comment is, it's a very good question. I don't have a good legal answer. I will investigate, and city council will make a decision whether to reimburse or not.
So the current homeowner that bought it at foreclosure paid the special assessment from 2012. However, there was another one prior to that was just added to the 2015 rules?
Correct.
That was never paid.
Yeah, and those taxes were labeled under a different code from the courts, and so they were recently discovered, which is why we put them
How
on.
many of those were there? Do we know?
What he's asking for now, it's on the back here, is that what you mean?
How many, well, how many of those citations or special assessments that were never put on the rolls prior to 2012 that were just discovered, and which is what tipped off this guy to ask for forgiveness, so there's more. That's what I'm getting at, correct?
And this is water though, too, right?
That the information never got from the court to here, basically, right? Is that correct?
Correct, on the 2015 tax bill. And to your question, Councilwoman, from my analogy with a large number, I won't guess at the amount because I would be misleading to you and to myself. But there was a large number of, a large value was put on the winter tax bill in 2015.
It's almost $1 million. I mean, we talked about it at a meeting, last month or the month before.
Okay,
it was
so
a sig- it
these
was
are
a
the, these
significant
are the
amount.
same,
But I'm not sure, I see what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree that that's, you're saying the ones, because the ones that he's disputing are from 2012. And that he's already paid those, so
Right.
he got another one in 15. You're saying that it dates back, but he already did get billed for and paid
The
for something
2012.
2012.
Right.
You paid that at the closing
And he's
or whatever.
communicated to the city that he doesn't think he's eligible to get that money back, but it's the 2015 one that he was worried about, and Greco's already removed those, so he's not being asked to pay those.
right now he's just trying to get
So-
reimbursed for the
Now
money
he's-
already paid.
But I don't blame him, he's
No,
saying,
trying
gee,
to-
I don't think
I
I
don't
qualify because I
But I
waited
guess I
so
just didn't
long.
realize that this mistake
But-
was one that larger
He
one
bought
we've
this
already
at tax
discussed.
foreclosures, right? Foreclosure, he
Yeah.
bought. So he paid that amount, including this.
Right, which we normally waive, however,
Right.
he should have known that he was able to get that, we can't go many years down the road and somebody come, I don't blame the guy, this one of them, we don't blame him for asking, I don't know if I'm comfortable reimbursing him. Not at this 3-4 years down the road, I think we're opening a huge door there if we go down
Because
that
then
road.
we have to say, like, how many years? are we
Right,
gonna go
maybe
back
1,
with
2,
these
somewhere in
taxes?
there, or-
Well, then I guess with the same token,
We're
we have to
looking
say,
at
how many years are we gonna go back and bill people when we didn't bill them 3 or 4 years ago when it was due? And expect them to pay it now, at when it
Or
was
like
4
those
years
court
old.
cases.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same
Those,
side of the
those were
coin.
citations, though. Those were, and we're not giving it to the people that, if they moved in after the citations, we're waiving them. This is, this was something that they were eligible, that they weren't aware of, buyers should know that. When you go in to purchase something, you should know what you're entitled to or whatever. And then down the year, but the only difference that I'm seeing is those citations were for junk in the yard, whatever, parking on the lawn or whatever, that if they lived in that house at that time, they should pay those citations. Yeah, there was a mistake, in a department in the city, but they still have to pay, you have to pay your fines. It's that simple.